Okay, inner tubes. So we are at our final destination, which is my fourth stop, where this project, the Drift 318 coupe, is a BMW drift car. Project is underway. We're putting a 330 M54 engine into a 318 coupe manual. A lot of people, half of the workshops and half of the BMW mechanics say that a 4-cylinder manual gearbox cannot be mated to a 6-cylinder block, but the other half say it can be done. So it's a matter of just changing the flywheel and clutch. So we're undertaking this project, and we're gonna build a Drift E46, BMW E46 318 into a 330 manual drift car, NA drift car. Yeah, so this is the half cut that we purchased for 7,000 ringgit without gearbox, and it came with all the body parts, interior parts, came with dashboard and interior. So this is the shell of it, and that's the engine. No gearbox because we're making the 318 manual gearbox up into it, and we've got all the internal wire harnesses, as you can see here. Huge mess. And that's the dashboard. I'll show you the car now. So this is the car that donor engine is going into. Here's the body. It's a manual 318 with a M43 engine. Very striking 928. Very striking. Sounds fantastic. Manual gearbox in there. Yep. So this is the final project that we're pushing out. Hope you guys like it. 2手嘅嗬，330 engine being refreshed with all new gaskets, new thermostat housing, new breather, all the necessary. It's a welded automatic rear differential. Bushes all refreshed in the diff cradle. 318 coupe up in the air. All this is gonna be removed, and that's the update for now. BMW 318 conversion to 330 manual drift car engine is ready. All the water pump, everything associated with water has been renewed. Water pump, all the plastic hoses that run under intake manifold, as you saw in the last update. All the gaskets in the intake manifold, all the gaskets that are associated with rocker cover. Even the vanos is replaced with a new service repair kit. So this engine is ready to go in. We're just about to drop the engine from the 318. All the associated parts for the 330 is ready. It's all waiting. It's a big mess. As you can see, steering rack has been refreshed. We just need to drop this lump of a 1.9 liter engine down and shove that 330 engine into its place. Alright, this is the update for now. Of course, the welded diff also needs to go in, and we do not know what the underneath the rear cross member looks like. We need to drop the rear cross member to check and see whether the chassis has any cracks. Okay, we'll be deleting the fuel filter here, and we'll be running the 330 system. Okay, it's ready to go in. These are the absorbers we'll be using. Air 1. Cheap and good for 2,700 bucks. 5 kg rear spring, 8 kg front spring with 32 click hard soft adjustment, body shift. Yeah, nice. Everything is smooth and everything seems to be of a high quality. Monotube absorbers. Feels good, looks good, and very light. Very light. Come with pillow balls. Yep, we're ready to go. Come with all the tools that's necessary. Nice. Air 1. For the Drift 330. Let's go. Okay, so we're gonna put the engine in and we're gonna fix. We've put in the absorbers but haven't attached it yet because we're gonna be sure, super sure, and weld in subframe reinforcement kit for the entire subframe. Although there are no cracks on, no visible cracks in this car's rear subframe mounting, because this is gonna be turned into a drift car, we're gonna take extra precaution and put subframe reinforcement repair kit onto it to ensure that the chassis doesn't crack. Engine is down. New absorbers are in. Engine's gonna go in soon. We're just waiting for the bell housing as well as the flywheel. A new bell housing which adapts this manual 220 gearbox to that, and we need the flywheel that attaches there, which will made up with this getreg 220 gearbox. So we're still pending these two parts in order to mate this gearbox with that engine. Alright, stay tuned guys, stay tuned. We're getting new radiator, new aircon condenser. We're gonna run clutch fan. We won't be running electric fan because drift car. Okay, inner tubes. Update for the 330 drift car. 320 convert to 330 manual drift car. The M54 B50 engine is in its place, but not in the final iteration. We've got to clean the thing up, and it's got to come back down to get all the wiring sorted, as well as we need to put the gearbox in. Now, I was under the impression that we had to change the gearbox bell housing with a gearbox bell housing adapter, but it's not true. This getreg 220 can actually fit directly into the engine here. It's a direct fit, no problem. The only difference is that the input shaft from the gearbox here will not reach this part because of the flywheel. So the flywheel needed to get some machine work done. As you can see, the flywheel is not here. We've got a bigger flywheel, bigger clutch pressure plate, as well as a bigger clutch. 9.5 inch versus 9 inch. This is what came out of the 320 engine, and this is what's going in the 330 engine. So flywheel needed to be cut open in order to allow this gearbox shaft to go through. Okay, so that's the only trick in this conversion for a 320 4-cylinder converting to a 330 6-cylinder while using the same getreg 220 gearbox. Now, the other big major update is this is the original subframe, rear subframe for the 320 coupe, and this is the subframe from the 330 half cut. We have in fact already fixed and installed weld the chassis reinforcement plate, which we got from Australia. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots welded into place. These plates came separately, pre-cut, prefabricated from Australia and welded in. In the boot, we had to open up 2 holes and weld reinforcement plates on top of this as well, on the inside of the car. We can't see that unless we bring the car down, but take my word for it, it was done. So because everything comes in the kit complete, we just had to cut the floorboard open a hole about this size, put a plate on, weld that plate back on. So that has already been done. Now we're just waiting for the flywheel to come back from the machine shop. Then we can put the gearbox in. That means engine and gearbox assembly, long shaft to the rear differential, everything completed. Then work on the wiring, all the wiring, electrical, to make this 320 pretty base model work well with the 330 wiring harness that came with a half cut. We need to make sure that traction control, ABS, etc. all works. Although this is a drift car, it will also be used as a daily driver with a solidly welded rear diff. Hope that actually works well for the user. Well, that's the intention anyway. So here we have the complete new radiator and aircon condenser assembly, which will be going in there. It's reassembled, just waiting for the rest of the bits to be installed, and then we can put the front end together all in one piece. Very cheap, you can have this very cheap. It is not OE, it is OEM. So yeah, China comes to save the day. Very cheap, less than 1,000 ringgit. We can have radiator and aircon condenser all together. So this is it for now. This is the update for the 330 coupe drift car. We need to put all the things that we have here on the ground back into the car so that we can bring the car back down onto the ground and then open the doors fully and work on the wiring and make sure everything talks together properly. As you can see, we've got huge progress. This car should be done in the next week or so, and we'll give you further progress and updates as we come along. Alright, thanks, bye. Okay guys, we have come into some problem. The 330 rear axle that we have didn't come with any disc brakes, no discs. So in order to make the disc work with the handbrake of this coupe body, there was a lot of engineering and machining that needed to be done, and we had to buy 330 discs, which was quite expensive. A pair of them would have cost me over 2,000 ringgit. So what we have resorted to do to make it simple and not have to modify the handbrake cable, we have actually purchased a set of BMW E46 328 drive shafts, drive shaft knuckle, disc and brakes for the rear and the front. The front we will maintain 330 front disc brakes, but the rear we will have to resort to replacing the drive shaft CV joints to 328 and 325, same thing. However, we have to install a spacer here because this side of the drive shaft is longer than the left side. Driver's side is longer than passenger side. If you see the rear differential, it is not centered. It is not centered, it's offset to the left. So left we don't have to do any modifications. The right we have to put in a spacer up there. Right here. We have to install a spacer right here, about 2 inches, to push the whole CV joint 2 inches outwards, outboard, to connect to the rear knuckle. Here, at the moment it is short by 2 inches. So the difference between the 325 and 330 rear drive shaft is very obviously the thickness of the drive shaft. Why we cannot reuse this assembly, this whole hub, drive shaft and hub assembly, is because of the handbrake cable which pulls on the rear drum. We will need that to work very efficiently for drifting, but we can't because there's a lot of engineering and machining that need to go into it, and it will also cost a few thousand ringgit to do that. So the most efficient, fastest, simple conversion to do is to convert all this whole assembly here to 325 or 328 assembly. The difference here is this is 32 mm thick in diameter versus the 325 and 328 drive shaft, which is 28 mm in diameter. The thickness of this is only 28 mm. So the positives is that it becomes lighter, this whole rear assembly becomes lighter, becomes more straightforward in assembling the brake system. However, it is less robust, but being a 330 NA, I think it should be alright, no issues. Okay, so that's the latest update we have here. As we go along and as we encounter problems, I will update you guys. Alright, so that other people taking this project, taking on this project should not have any problems. These are the calipers. These are the fronts from a 325, 328. These are the rear for 325, 328. Another issue while maintaining the 330 rear diff is that this diff has a 6-bolt pattern flange. These are the handbrake cable channels versus the 320 that this original chassis comes with a 4-bolt pattern long shaft. We cannot mate this, so we will have to cut and join the tail end of this long shaft, because the front will mate into the gearbox over there, gearbox, and the rear will have to mate to the rear differential, which is 6-bolt pattern. This is the original 4-bolt pattern from the 320, which came with the car. All this and this came with the car. That is what we bought. So we have to make that work because we have already welded that diff shut. Haha. Okay, that's the other update, guys. Okay, E46 drift car project with the 330 engine installed and a getreg 220. We had to modify this area for the transmission mounting to go in. We also had to modify these holes, elongate it a little bit to make sure it fits. We will also have to cut this short. As you can see, it's a little bit past the hole, as well as one more connection, another fork, the last fork that need to be modified shorter as well. In the rear, with the 328, 325 rear knuckle drive shaft assembly. We had to add in about 60 millimeters, slightly more of a spacer, because it's off-centered. This diff is off-centered, and that needed to be extended out by 60 mm. This side is stock, because the half cut we purchased did not come with rear disc and brake assembly. We had to source our own, and to find a 3301 was near impossible, so we had to settle for this 325, 328 rear knuckle brake disc assembly to make sure that the handbrake cable and everything can still be worked and function with this chassis, with this body. So yep, these are the updates. Engine wire harness, body wire harness has already been installed, all in already. Engine will still need to be brought down one more time, because this is not the complete final iteration of this setup, but at least the car can be rolled and put down on its four wheels, rolled around by itself now. Okay, updates, some more coming on the way. Okay, another obstacle we are having here with this 330 rear differential is that the 330 rear differential comes with a 4-hole flange, a 6-hole flange, and a 6-hole long shaft. But the 320 standard long shaft is 4 holes. This is a problem. This is the original long shaft that came with the body of the car, and this is the standard rear differential. It came with the body of the car. It's a 4-hole flange. So we have to get what we're hoping is that the 330's long shaft rear piece will mate up with the 320's front piece by way of just changing a universal joint there, replacing that, and then putting that 330 mated with a 320 prop shaft, and we will have the shafts mated to that. Okay, so just take note for those who are doing a 330 rear diff conversion. This is a 320 rear diff. Alright, keep you guys updated for other things. Okay, for the E46 coupe drift project car, we're working on transferring all 330 wires across now. Dashboard is out. Interior is gutted. A lot of wires. This is the difficult part. Mechanically easy, wiring difficult. Brakes have all been installed. We've reverted to using 328 front and rear brakes because of the half cut didn't come with 330 brakes. So we had no choice but to source E46 328 brakes, front and rear. We also had to change the drive shaft, the rear knuckle, to make sure that the handbrake all works with the 328 brakes. 328 and 325 brakes are the same. 330 totally different, 320 totally different. So although they are the same platform of car, but the underlying drivetrain is all different. This is what we need to transfer into this chassis. This big mess, this heap of wires, doesn't look like much, but it all has got to go in there. So 2 cars fully disassembled leaves you so much mess all over the place. Everything is everywhere. Terrible. But soon we'll get back into reassembling stuff, and we can move forward. Alright, that's the update for now. This is the top view of the absorbers we got. High-low soft hard. Wow, so stiff. Okay, there you go. Turns, turns. Okay, the 330 drift car project is almost on its way done. A complete front end has already been fitted on. Engine has been cleaned up and tidied up, and all necessary hoses, connectors, etc. has been replaced new to ensure reliability as a drift and daily driver. Obviously, bubble catch tank, radiator, all the accessories which will assist to make it reliable has already been replaced. So all ducting and underbelly covers will also be in place, and now the interior is going in. So externally done, engine bay area done, and interior is all being refitted now. Not super straightforward. We needed to reprogram the ECU to interact with the 320 body, because we've transferred the entire 330 wire loom into the car. So the car now starts perfectly well. I'm gonna do a startup for you, and everything can be read on the meter. There is no faults. There are no faults on the meter, which is correct. All the airbags are going back in. All the safety equipment will work. Car sounds very, very nice. Throttle. Perfect. E-throttle runs nicely. The car sounds great. Superb. New braking system, everything from the 328. Car is a few days from being ready, so looking forward to get a half cage fitted, 2 full bucket seats installed, and the car will be ready for drifting. Alright, inner tubes. This is the new update for the 320 coupe convert to 330 drift car. Car, as you can see, is now sitting on its own wheels. It's out from the workshop. Everything is done. Car can be started, can be driven, so we're going to go for a test drive now. Of course, some parts are not here yet. We're replacing the front bumper. Headlights are not so good, so we're getting coupe headlights. Funny thing is, coupe and 4-door sedan headlights are totally different. Front end is also totally different. The fenders and the bonnet, they're all different for the coupe and the 4-door. So headlights, they are specific for a coupe. So we're looking for front headlights, and interior bits, there are some that are missing, so don't judge me there. We're gonna fix up all this. So here we go. We're gonna start the car up. For the first time, you will hear it on the inner tubes, but let me pop the hood so that you can see that everything is complete. Oh, what a nice big lump. Clean. Looks like it's meant to be in there. Factory fresh. Ready for some beating. Some ass whooping. Alright, that's enough for that. Of course, absorbers are new. Everything pretty new. Close that. And then let's start it up. Interior is very tatty. A lot of bits are were broken in the process of opening and closing. That's one of the things that you've got to come to accept from a BMW E46, because the plastics are quite brittle, and ooh, aircon blows cold. My goodness. Listen to the sound of the 3 liter. The exhaust is not fully connected yet. Yes, I'm revving the car when the engine is still cold, but I didn't take it up much. It's I've only revved it to maybe 2000 RPM. Like about 3000. Okay, let's go for a quick drive. Everything works. Power window. Everything works in this car at the moment. Passenger seat not in yet. The rest of the stuff not in yet. Bits and pieces that are missing. Okay, I just finished driving the 330 drift car coupe, and actually very surprised at how it handles and performs. The suspension was pretty good, very comfortable. Obviously, with all BMWs, the problem of having an effective handbrake is not there. That's why we've got a few things to do, few things yet to do, which is installing a hydraulic handbrake. Of course, completely reinstalling all the second-hand part interiors that we're getting, as well as a half roll cage. So there's still a bit of work left yet to do. That was the maiden test drive for me on that car, and I was very happy. The the fully welded rear diff wasn't an issue. It drove pretty well. I just have to off the ACS, which is the traction control from BMW. It was cutting off every time I made a turn, cutting power off every time I made a turn, and the clutch was very nice and soft. The car was so easy to drive. Steering was light. A bit more suspension tuning is required. It was a little bit soft. I hope that we can get it stiffer and more aggressive for drift duty. At the same time, the exhaust note was so good. The burble and off throttle backfires were actually very entertaining. So with that, we're gonna have to tweak the car a little bit more, but this is where we end the video and the build series for now, until we are able to get the half cage in, hydraulic handbrake in, and the rest of the interior in. Then I will give you guys a further update and a final video on the completed build. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.